into the sea and gather fish of every kind. When it was full, men drew it ashore and sat down and sorted the good into containers, but threw away the bad. So it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come out and separate the evil from the righteous and throw them into the fiery furnace. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Have you understood all these things? They said to him, Yes. And he said to them, Therefore every scribe who has been trained for the kingdom of heaven is like a master of house who brings out of his treasures what is new and what is old. And when Jesus had finished these parables, he went away from there. And coming to his hometown, he taught them in their synagogues, so that they were astonished and said, Where did this man get this wisdom and these mighty works? It is not the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary? Are not his brother James and Joseph and Simon and Judas? And are not all his sisters with us? Where then did this man get all these things? And they took offense at him. But Jesus said to them, A prophet is not without honor except in his hometown and his own household. And he did not do mighty works there because of their unbelief. This is the word of the Lord.
This time, children ages 3 through kindergarten are welcome to head off to Children's Church. Once again, children ages 3 through kindergarten are welcome to head off to Children's Church. They'll be gone during the sermon time, after which they'll join us. And just FYI, good seats available up here in the front, just for future reference. You don't bite, do you, Kristen? Okay. Not usually. Well, no guarantees, folks. For those of us who remain, we are going to be looking at Matthew chapter 13, verses 44 through 46. Matthew chapter 13, verses 44 through 46. That's page 819. If you're using a dark blue church Bible there in front of you. Page 819, if you use a dark blue church Bible there in front of you. So one of the things that's become, I don't know if it's a hobby or an activity or a pursuit or how you would qualify this, but it's hitting thrift stores. And in particular, there's a thrift store here in Rowlett on Rowlett Road, the Life Message, that has become a fan favorite. We go there with regularity, especially on Tuesdays, because Tuesdays, I probably shouldn't tell you this, it's 40% off day. But you don't have to go on Tuesdays, if you know what I mean. But you learn lessons early on. Like Sarah saw something at the thrift that she really liked, and she thought, well, I'll wander around and come back and get it. And when she came back, it's gone, right? So when you see a bargain at the thrift store, you got to get it right then. You see this. So, for example, she found a pair of shoes, nice maroon shoes in my size, not in your size, by the way, just in my size, $10. So I'm waiting until Tuesday. $6, right? That sounds like a bargain. That sounds like a bargain for me. So I plan to go by and get those. And there's something about recognizing value, because we all know this. Sometimes beauty is in the eye of the beholder, or value is in the eye of the beholder. And sometimes you have something like a baseball card or an old penny or a painting that's up in grandma's attic, and you might think it's rubbish, but to the keen eye, it might be something that has, of course, great value. But not everybody has an understanding or the knowledge to recognize the value inherent therein. We're dealing with a couple of parables that address that topic. Do you see something is valuable? Do you have eyes to see? As the chapter unfolds for us, we see a couple of times mentioned. Do you have eyes to see? Do you have ears to hear? Do you recognize the value of something inherently? We're going through Matthew 13, and we're looking at some parables. Parable, once again, we're talking about an earthly story with a heavenly meaning. We're supposed to take something that we know, and by analogy, better understand something that we don't know particularly well. And this is what we're looking at again. So what I'd like to do is we're going to look first at the treasure hidden in a field, then we're going to look at the pearl. So we're going to look at those two things. But first, I want to try to understand at the outset the dominant theme in both of those and make sure we can recognize what it means. What exactly is that which is of value? May not make sense at this moment, but when we get into it, I think it will. So those are our three things that we're going to look at. Some of our older kids take notes. And so first, we're going to try to understand what is it that actually is of value. And then we'll look at the treasure in the field, and then we'll look at the pearl as well. So come with me, if you would, back to our text, verses 44 through 46. What exactly is it that's so valuable? What are we supposed to understand here from these earthly stories that is of value? Verse 44, the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field, Then, in all his joy, he goes and sells all that he has and buys the field. What is it that is valuable? Verse 45. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant in search of fine pearls, who, on finding one pearl of great value, went and sold all that he had and bought it. So, what is it that is of value? Let me give you three options here. And you will find wise human beings in these different categories. So, you'll also, I think, find truth in different categories. But the question is what's being talked about here. So, for example, some would say the treasure is the church. The treasure is the church. The Lord Jesus Christ finds the church so valuable that he decides he will lay down his life for it. He finds the sheep so valuable that he will lay down his life for it. John 10, Jesus said, "I'm a good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep, only to take it up again." Ephesians 5 talks about Christ loves his bride, right? Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. You see the love